Was there ever a stunt that you were that was like too embarrassing to do?
I was terribly embarrassed super recently over the way that I backed out of doing this big stunt that I told everybody I was gonna go and get breast implants for my new tour. Like, oh man, it's gonna be crazy. I was so absolutely convinced that if I went and just as a gag went in and got D-size breast implants, this would be such big news, that it would be such headlines that every person in the world was gonna know that Steve-O got boobs for his new tour. And whether or not anybody agreed with it or like whatever, I believed in the sheer numbers as a numbers game.
Yes, because you have to
It's
go
a great
you have to
marketing
go and
tactic.
see them.
Incredible market. Like that Instagram photo, that first one, I imagine getting 10 million.
Does it get deleted? Does it get taken down?
That was one of the
where
questions.
you draw the line?
Is a heterosexual man who identifies as a man allowed to be topless and he's got boobs?
And then but then there are men who have boobs that naturally when they gain weight. Should those be censored versus the ones that you get artificially? I think it's incredibly interesting.
And I believe firmly that the list of creative ideas for pranks and stunts that I would film during the 2 months that I had the boobs, 'cause I only ever intended to keep the boobs for 2 months, and then I was going to get them taken out. I just knew it was a nuclear attention-getting thing, and I was just committed to it. Committed to it to the point where it was fully paid for. I had a hyperbaric chamber set up in the living room, which was apparently going to speed up my recovery process to twice as fast. I was going to heal twice as fast by sitting in this hyperbaric chamber. I'd like really, really gotten like shockingly good at acrobatic pole dancing to film hidden camera pranks in strip clubs. Like I had like the level of commitment that I had was like utterly undeniable. And I got to the point of being within 10 hours of the surgery. It was to happen at 8 a.m. on July 11th. 10 p.m. the night before, 10 hours before surgery, I got a call that the anesthesiologist backed out. They found out it's Steve-O doing and of course they found out because I told everybody. I like posted about it. I made it so known. I'm going to do this like an idiot. I just blurted it out to the world. And the anesthesiologist backed out. Then the doctor was didn't want to be associated with it anymore. The surgery center, they were trying to get it rescheduled, and this will turn out to be a story that I tell like ad nauseum. So I should shouldn't dwell on this too much. But in any case, the next day they're trying to reschedule it. The next day, the day that I was supposed to already have had the surgery, I'm in the supermarket buying groceries, and the person ringing up my groceries is evidently transgender. And in my view, I had never needed permission to go through with this. So, like, I was so perfectly clear on what my intentions were, which were to get attention, to get laughs, to be crazy, the wild jackass stunt. Like, that's the next logical step for like what I do. But I felt that here's another example. Like, this was meant to be, like here, like, this, like, I just couldn't deny the possibility that here, like, I'm having this encounter with this evidently transgender person for a reason. And I thought, man, like this sequence of events seems like to be pointing to, and I just said to this person, hey, can I run something by you? Can I have a conversation?
That's interesting. Yeah. What do they say?
I mean, I explained my whole thing, and even like down to like what the specific pranks and stunts were, to the extent that I described the whole exercise as being the ultimate statement of body autonomy. I said, you know what? Like, I think this is just, this isn't to be hurtful or offensive to anybody. This is just my body, my choice. And I'm going to be wild. And here we go. This person said that the my body, my choice thing is great. We're all about that. But when you're disguising yourself, I had a plan with for a motorcycle helmet to completely cover my face and head. And to be with airbrushing, cover all my tattoos and waxing, no hair, bikini top, Daisy Dukes, with my motorcycle helmet on, riding a pink Vespa around at the Sturgis motorcycle rally, with hidden cameras filming like gangs of Hells Angels bikers, like checking me out, parking in the Vespa and walking up to them and then pulling off my helmet and saying, yeah, dudes, what's up? And it would have been like, if I believe that would have been amazing.
Yes.
But I also believe that it would have been more compelling, more entertaining if the reaction from the Hells Angels guys was one of contention
or disgust of like, what is that?
Even if it's fairly reasonable to expect that perhaps they would assault me. And in my view, that's what would have made the footage the craziest. Yeah. And this person who I spoke to saw real issues with that, and that going like the disguising myself to trick people is like something very sensitive. And particularly to make the reveal, which invites or incites, like a hateful response. Basically the creative plan there was one to celebrate like hatred.
I get that. It's one of those topics where I feel like it's become such a big
lightning rod
issue.
Yeah.
That didn't quite exist to the same extent 20 years ago. And I feel like back then, like in 2005, you do this and it's the hit. Now I think it just comes at it from a different angle where all of a sudden it turns into this issue, and now you have much bigger groups take a meaning to it that you never intended.
Right. And in the lead up to this whole thing, I knew that there were going to be people who were like very hot under the collar about it. I knew that it was going to be a super polarizing thing. And I thought, it's a numbers game, like, let's go. Like, it's going to. So people being sensitive about that, it was just the conversation that I had with this person. And particularly when they described a level of oppression that was genuinely heartbreaking, like, wow. And I mean, I don't even I don't even know that any one thing was it. I just felt that like the cumulative effect of the whole chain of events like genuinely led me to believe that the universe had intervened to prevent me from going through with that idea.
That makes sense.
I could see that.
At the risk.
And looking back on it now, I'm so glad I didn't do it. I'm just so glad I didn't do it. But that doesn't change the fact that I'm still humiliated by the way that I said I was going to do it and then I didn't do it. And like, even the notion that I planned to do it and hadn't yet got traction with the media.
Yeah.
To the point where when I'm going about my day doing random things in public, random people will say, so when are you getting the boobs? I was like, oh. And then I have this embarrassment just like wash over me. And I explain, what happened? I know.
Yeah,
I've just never been the kind of guy to say I'm going to do something and then not do it. And I'm not necessarily embarrassed that I backed out. I'm just more embarrassed that I blurted it out to begin with. And perhaps in equal measure, I'm proud to be the kind of guy who can admit that he's wrong.
That's fair.
That's very fair. At the risk of sounding very ignorant, I think that would have been so funny to see like those when you're telling me those ideas, the fact that you got good at stripping and like you were gonna go on a Vespa and try to garner attention from like biker gang, like that's hilarious. Like envisioning that in my head is one of the funniest things. Like the marketing on that alone. Not trying to convince you into doing anything. Yeah, I'm just saying.
I think we could separate it from everything else. Though.
I just see it as I don't see it as like Steve-O like mocking anybody. I just see it as Steve-O with boobs, which is just funny.
You know what? I get it, and I also genuinely appreciate the kind words. I do consider myself to be a creative guy with a knack for coming up with entertaining plans.
Yeah,
that's a 10 out of 10.
That is strongly evidenced in the show that I was going to do this for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I put together wildly entertaining shows, and I feel really strongly that everybody who comes out to see me on this tour, the Steve-O Super Dummy Tour, that they're going to be wildly entertained.